What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the next video. So now the bumper is fully built, like the shape and everything. All the fiberglass work is done. It is fitting really good how I want it anyways. Way better than it was under the headlights, especially. You can't fit your finger under there anymore. So now what I'm gonna be doing basically is gonna be going over the whole thing with some body filler. Basically just to fine tune like the gaps and the lines, and then obviously straighten out all the fiberglass that I modified. And also, I don't know, I should have took a video before, but this is incredibly wavy because it's just a cheap like $200 fiberglass bumper, and that's what happens when you buy fiberglass parts. Doesn't even matter if they're expensive or not, they're always gonna be wavy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna skim coat the whole bumper, like the main areas at least. Probably not like in the vents and stuff like that, but probably gonna skim coat the whole bumper. And that sounds bad, but like it's not bad. It's not gonna be super thick. It's just gonna be a nice light coat over it, and then block it down, and you'll see all the low spots and the high spots and whatever. So that way, once the car is painted, this will look really nice, like the body of the car, and then this will match instead of being all wavy. And I just hate fiberglass parts because they're all junk and they all fit like garbage, and most people don't care, and that's fine, but I do. So yeah, that's what we're gonna get into today. I'm not exactly sure how much of it I'm gonna film because it's all pretty much the same every step of the way in like the body filler. Just different materials that you're using and stuff like that, different grits. Might go over some of that. By the end of it, we should be able to see exactly how this bumper is gonna look and like final fit to the car, and we should be able to see like this shape, the final form of the bumper, and yeah, hopefully it looks cool. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get into it now. I'm gonna take the bumper off, and I'm gonna basically wrap tape around the fender and all the headlights and everything and stuff. That way when I'm doing the body filler, it's not gonna stick to the fender and get all over the headlight. So now you can see it's looking pretty awesome. This is a little bit too tight still. Well, now I guess. So I kind of want it to be like this all the way along, and it's a little bit tight. And you gotta remember there's still primer and paint and stuff going in there, so you gotta make the gap a little bit bigger. And then here doesn't quite have the same shape, so I'm gonna just fill a little bit there. But other than that, it's coming out really good. You can see now that it's a nice straight edge. I'm gonna go to this, and once I get this looking how I want it, then I'll go to the other side and basically repeat it. Well, I didn't film it, but I put the first coat on here. Like I said, this looks really bad, but like probably 75% of that's gonna end up on the floor. If you go and just put it in like one little area, which you could do if it was like really bad. So if you had like a really low spot, you could just fill in that one spot and then do a slick after you kind of knock that down. But this really isn't too bad, so I just did a coat over the whole thing. Now I'm gonna go over it with my block with some 40 grit, really knock it down, and you'll see like the fiberglass, like this gray color, you'll see it come through in the low spots wherever I'm hitting, and like that's good. That means it's not super thick. It's pretty important to, there's like a little window of time that you have basically where it's starting to like kick over and dry, but it's not rock hard and it's not like gummy. And you can get it, if you get it in that perfect spot, it knocks off super easy. And if you wait too long, it's rock hard. If you do it too soon, it'll gum up the sandpaper. And then that should be pretty good for this stuff, which is like the fiberglass reinforced body filler. And then once I get all of this like shaped, basically I'll do like a real light skim coat of basically like the gold body filler, because it's really easy to sand, and then smooth it all back out, and then go to the other side, do the same thing. Okay, so it's pretty much ready to go. So hopefully this goes pretty quick, because this stuff gets really hard. So what you see here, this is the low spot. All these dark spots that aren't getting sanded, that's all low, and these are all high. So you basically want to get these down to that, or fill that up to that. So you block until these either hit fiberglass or metal or whatever you're working on, and you can't go any lower, so then you have to fill that. So right now we're gonna keep going until we either hit this edge or in the middle or over here or something of the fiberglass bumper, and then keep going. So I don't know if you can see here, but we're down to the fiberglass right there, so that's good. It's going pretty good. We're gonna keep going, take this down a little bit more. Kind of angle it that way, but I'm also gonna hit down here before it gets super hard. So I got that knocked down now. You can start to see now this shape take place. I kind of carry on here. So it's looking really good. I'm super happy with it. It's actually not that bad. Probably one slick of the body filler would be good. Take the bumper off and trim this down. Well, not trim, but sand this down once I get the bumper off. Same with up around the headlight, get it fit nice and tight. And then sand some of this out so we have a bit more of a gap. So we need more of a gap in that. It's coming along really good though. So now basically what I'm doing is just like measuring from this side, like this distance pretty much, and just double checking, making sure I have it proper on this side. So then what I'll do is I'll just use this piece of tape, basically sand down into that and kind of make it like more defined groove there. And then I'll do the same thing, I'll tape on top of that, take this tape off and then sand back into that, and it'll have a nice line. I had to do a little finagling with it, but it's like spot on now. It's perfect. So it's exactly 4 3/8 from here to here, all the way along on both sides. One thing I'm gonna have to do is probably, which I'm not super stoked about, but I'm gonna have to build up like this whole side of the bumper, because you can see the sides are pretty, I know it's hard to see on camera, but this side you can fit your finger in there. Well, I guess you can see. And then here it gets like really big. I'm gonna bring this side of the hood down just a touch. So that should help out a little bit, but it's still like bows in the middle. So I'm gonna have to kind of straighten that out, build that up a little bit. Okay, so I put it on there pretty decently, like fairly smooth, which is probably the most important part when you're like putting any type of body filler on, because you just have to take it back off or like start sanding it back off. So the smoother you put it on, the less sanding you're gonna have to do, and then it'll be a little bit quicker for you. I'm just gonna start blocking it with some 80 grit on the block, just like the cheap whatever blocks. They're not the greatest, but they get the job done. And yeah, should hopefully it'll go pretty quick. So this side is just about pretty much done for this part, but I'm gonna go to the other side. That way it doesn't get super rock hard and I can still sand it. And then I'll come back and I'll finish up the edges and whatever else I have to do to this. Okay, so now I finished. I just went around and cleaned up the edges, cleaned up this gap, really good. It looks pretty nice. This flows pretty good now and then it kind of just fades away like it should. It's not going to be like a perfect show car or whatever, but once we prime it, we'll be able to see even better how it looks. But I'm super happy with it. So I had to take the headlights out. That way I could do this and not get filler and sandpaper marks, whatever, all over the headlights. Then I think I can take the bumper back off and basically like strip off the rest of all this, which is what I just did over here and all these spots down here. And then yeah, it's gonna be ready for primer. That should be sick. So now basically just going over, stripping all this. It's upside down, so this is all the stuff you would never see, but make me feel better if I stripped it all. And then I had to do a little bit here, just because it looked a little bit wavy on that bottom edge, which you actually notice because you're kind of staring at it and the shadow that it makes. So that'll be good now. Yeah, so this is pretty much done. I do have to put a couple pieces of fiberglass in here because it got really thin when I was sanding this. It's been repaired before, obviously you can see all over the place. And I was just kind of cleaning it up because I was gonna put a piece of fiberglass here and my little Dremel went straight through the bumper. So I'll put a little piece here and I'll put a little piece here now, and then whatever, I'll just body work the outside real quick. It won't take long. I got some tape on it just so the resin doesn't run out all over my body fill or body work. Not a huge deal. Also, I cleaned up all these edges, so all the corners, that's kind of hard to tell, but all the corners are nice and sharp, but not like crazy sharp. You kind of got like a round to them. Okay, so pretty much got it set up. All I did was put the tarp on the ground, and I also have it sitting up on a little piece of 2x4. That way I can get underneath here and like get this edge really good, instead of just sitting it on the horse. Then you would have like a edge basically where it's at. So just lift it up, keep it off the edge, be all good. I'm probably gonna regret doing this because when I did the car, I had this place like everything was taped up, but I really don't feel like doing that just for this bumper. I'm gonna keep the pressure really low, probably, I don't know, like under 25 pounds. And it's just this little bumper. I don't know, hopefully it'll be okay. I got it set up this way, so I'm gonna spray like towards the door, not towards the car. Hopefully my wheels don't get destroyed. They need to be polished anyways. Maybe that'll give me an excuse to make them nice again. Yeah, so there is still a few pinholes. You can see like quite a few of them. I'm probably gonna do 3 coats. But then just because there's so much body work, I'm pretty much gonna prime it once and then obviously let it dry and whatever. Then I'll block it all down and fill any of the pinholes that you find later on. Because it's fiberglass, there's a lot of pinholes just like in the material itself. So I'm gonna prime it, then I'll block it, do any little touch up I need to do, then I'm gonna prime it again. That way just to get, you know, everything good. So if there's pinholes like here and there, whatever, not a big deal. You'll be able to fix those before next primer. And then once you prime them, you'll be able to see, like, you can already see a bunch, but there'll be 100 more. So just wait till that point and then we'll take care of it then. So you'll mix up some primer and see what happens, I guess. Okay, so I got my primer mixed up. It's the same stuff I used on the body, the Limco epoxy primer. Epoxy is actually really good for fiberglass parts. I just put a trip. Epoxy is actually really good for fiberglass parts because it basically seals it up, protects like the fiberglass against moisture and stuff like that. Just like you want protection against bare steel, you also want protection against, well, not against, but on bare steel, you also want protection on fiberglass against moisture. So I'm just gonna hit it with that, and yeah, hopefully it don't mess up my garage too bad. But I am gonna try and use this fan, so I'm gonna open the door a little bit, turn it on, and then start spraying. Since I'm not going around a whole entire car, I don't think it'll get too cold in here, and hopefully that'll keep the overspray down. But we'll see what happens. 2 coats on there. It's the next day now. I just threw it on real quick. And you can see it's looking pretty good. Super happy with this body line here. Looks really nice. It just kind of fades out. You can see it's still not completely dry yet because it's so cold out here. It'll eventually flatten out like that, but this line's pretty sweet. It's pretty nice. Matches this side really good. Super happy with how it came out. Like I said, there is a ton of pinholes in it and a few little things here and there to fix, but it's not a big deal because I plan to reprime it anyway. So it's not a huge deal. It'll be done before I reprime it, and then definitely before paint. But yeah, try and get an idea basically of like the poke on this side to this side. Looks pretty good. I'm super happy with how this is coming out. So this is pretty much done. I'm gonna leave this until like the body's done, all the other stuff's done, and then once I go to reprime, I don't know if I'm gonna reprime the whole car, but yeah, this is gonna be done for a long time now, so it's pretty cool. I'm super happy with how this came out. It looks really good. It took a lot of time. It was quite a bit of work to get it to this point, but I don't know, I think it's gonna be worth it once it's all painted. It's gonna look cool. Probably in the next video, I'm gonna get into fitting the side skirts, making them fit really good to the car. Probably not modifying them that much, but just making it so it doesn't stick out like crazy. And then I still have to figure out if I'm gonna modify this rear diffuser, because I really love like the center part, like this part, I think is like pretty cool. And I honestly don't mind this part, it's just it doesn't match the rest of the body kit at all. Like now the front bumper is super smooth, and like the side is pretty straightforward, like it's just nice and smooth other than that little vent, but I like that. And this kind of doesn't match at all, so I might just cut this right off and then kind of give it like a little bit of a flare. I don't know, it's hard to envision with this massive thing there, but I might kind of make it look like the front bumper a little bit, where this will come like kind of on an angle like that, and then just get rid of this. And then so it'll be nice and like smooth and straight along here, and then just kind of go into that edge. But I'm not entirely sure because I really do like that rear. It's not really rare, but I don't know, it's expensive. A lot of people don't run them since it's kind of out there, but it is a Y square piece, so I think it's pretty cool. But whatever, I gotta figure out what I'm doing with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed basically seeing the process in the last, well, this video and the video before that, basically to build this whole bumper. There's gonna be quite a bit more. I haven't really said anything about it, but I have a pretty serious project I wanna do for the back area. I'll get into it later on, but it'd be a lot more involved in this. So this is kind of just like a, like a warm-up type thing. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe, like, comment, whatever. And yeah, just keep watching, and I'll see you in the next one.